Thank you, and good morning to you all. This morning, I have the honor of introducing Dr. Gregory Cajete, who is a tribal member of Santa Clara Pueblo, located in New Mexico. Unfortunately, he passed away yesterday, so he's back with family. And I just found out about this information on my way here. So we're related as well. And so it comes with a heavy heart, but we pray for life and continued life and celebrate her long life. She was 102 years old. Dr. Gregory Cajete, Tewa language was his first language, and eventually he learned the English language, but he is a Tewa author and professor. He has pioneered reconciling indigenous perspectives in science with a Western academic setting. His focus is teaching culturally based science with its emphasis on health and wellness. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce his presentation. Thank you.
Dr. Cajete said we could show this TED Talk of his since he wasn't able to come. He did this 10-minute TED Talk that he said would have been a similar message to what he would have presented if he would have been able to be here today.
Sengi Hung, as we say in Tewa. I'm from Santa Clara Pueblo, and my greetings to you. And the pleasure to share some thoughts and Sengi Hung, as we say in Tewa. I'm from Santa Clara Pueblo, and my greetings to you, and the pleasure that I have to share some thoughts and perspectives with you about a very special story that, in a sense, is a story of sustainability and is a story that is very ancient within the context of Puebloan peoples. And so the name of this story is really a Pueblo story of sustainability. And I invite all of you into the world of Pueblo people, because the story actually is a story of emergence. It's a story that is shared, and if anything can be said about what is in common among Puebloan peoples, is that we share a common story. Although we're very diverse, we have different languages, many different customs, but what we do share is this story. And this story of emergence is shared in many times, in many places, within the context of Pueblo communities, to describe and for us to remember what is our responsibility, what is our relationship, and what is the nature of the journey that we take as a people, as a community, through time and through space. So this is the story of indigenous sustainability from a Pueblo perspective. So When one looks into the world from this indigenous perspective, as this slide shows, what is seen is really a tapestry of interdependence, interrelationships. And so in the native eye, looking out into the world, there is this understanding that everything is related, everything is connected, and that we have a place within that tapestry of interrelationship, that tapestry within the world. Many times this notion of journeying through a storied landscape is described as a pathway in life. And so as we talk about what is the nature of this journey of sustainability, this story of emergence that is common to indigenous peoples, and also especially relates to the journey of Pueblo people in this land, in this place, which is really a 20,000 year journey in this place, in this land. We refer to it basically as an understanding of that perspective. So one of the terms that we've used is look to the mountain. And in my language, it's pronounced Bimpio'obi. And when one says that, one begins to understand that when you look at something that is vast and large and has a very important kind of meaning to the people, that you have to look at the past, you have to look at the present, and you have to look at the future to have a complete perspective of understanding of where you may go and what you may do. Within the context of this, water as life is one of the first understandings of relationship and responsibility. The understanding that water is a part of all life, and that this is an important and essential understanding of relationship and responsibility. And in this metaphor, one begins to look at, in a sense, the mirror of the past. In this sense, this understanding that in order to understand yourself, you have to look at your past, and that mirrors back to you what you may do in the present and also the vision of the future. So as we move forward, as I said, indigenous peoples, Puebloan peoples have been here for a very long time. We have a very long history, beginning with the Paleo-Indian hunters, evolving into the times of the first Puebloan communities, the first clans, evolving in time into the creation and forming of the first communities and forming the land in ways that allow us to create our communities. Those communities then becoming more and more complex, and with that complexity there's an understanding that issues of sustainability become paramount to the survival of those communities. So in time, the understanding of that journey or that pathway through life and through that storied landscape brings us to the present time, so that there's a continuity between Puebloan peoples of the past and Puebloan peoples of today. So this understanding is a very, very essential understanding that is conveyed in the stories that we have. First is our relationship to animals, and this Hunter's Canteen from the Jemez Pueblo with the Heartline represents that very essential relationship that Pueblo people recognize, and that very special story that we have a relationship with animals. That takes the form of one of the metaphors that we often use for seeking life, hunting for life. So the whole notion and whole complex and history of hunting becomes a part of this process. Puebloan peoples dance for life. We dance our relationships with these very, very important entities that give us life both individually and within the context of community. One metaphor that I was reminded of was my grandmother used to say, "Hung indagimo," we are all but corn. And the idea of this notion is that, as you can see, there's each of these corn kernels are individuals. They're going to evolve into individual corn plants. But their characteristic is that they lean against the corn kernels on that corn cob. The corn cob is the structure of the community. The corn kernels are the individuals that make up that community. It is that understanding that unity in diversity matters and is very important in the context and creation of community as a whole. Our relationship to the Earth Mother is represented in this slide, the Corn Mother and her children. This understanding that the mother of all life essentially is the earth, and that she represents this spirit entity within the earth itself that comes forward in the context of this understanding of this story. And so tied to this is a whole complex of what is called indigenous knowledge, traditional indigenous knowledge, which in a sense is a complex of understandings that have been conveyed from generation to generation that allow us to understand not only our relationship to each other, but our relationship and how to, in a sense, cultivate that relationship and sustain it through time and through generations. As we dance the buffalo dance, so as we dance our relationship to animals, we also dance our relationship to plants. And so the complex of corn dances that one witnesses actually beginning very soon and all the way through the life cycle of corn, all the way to harvest, is a representation of this understanding and this coming together to remember what is important. And that is really the sustainability of the people, the sustainability of the community through time and through generations. So what is it all about? You know, ultimately, what is this whole notion of sustainability really about? It's really about the good life. And so the harvest really represents that understanding of what it's all about. You know, and in this context, one can see that seeking life, finding life, and having life are all combined in this context of understanding this metaphor. And so finally, you know, this notion of native well-being, native foods, native health, native community, native family, native art, native teaching, native learning, becomes all of the ways in which, within the context of Puebloan communities, we reinforce and we remember what it is to be a part of the community and also to sustain ourselves as cultures through time and through generations. Likewise, you know, as we sustain the land also sustains us in the context of this notion that we are related not only to the plants and to the animals, but we are actually very much the land itself. And so I leave you with these thoughts, these perspectives about understanding through metaphor, through image, through remembering to remember, you know, what is important. And so our feast, you know, that food for life, in the context of celebrating our elders and the notion that they convey to us understandings and perspectives that are important to carry into future generations. And this whole notion that the spirit of sustainability is coming alive again. We call this the indigenous mind rising. One can also say that it is the time when we must, as people of this earth, begin to once again respect and honor and in a sense begin to follow the music and the song and the dance of Kokopelli. He beckons us on. Thank you.